Hey guys, it's the Movie Man, and welcome to my channel. Today's episode is going to be about The Rookie, an old school Disney Channel movie starring Dennis Quaid. So let's get started. So I want to start off with just a little fun fact for anybody who watched my last video about the movie Genius. Trevor Morgan, who played Charlie, aka Chaz, in Genius, is the same actor who portrays a young Jimmy Morris at the beginning of The Rookie. And when we're introduced to Jimmy Morris, we're introduced to a kid who loves baseball. That's all he does is throw a baseball 24/7, 365 days a year. Much like all of us who were kids and just love one thing. That's all we're ever thinking about, all we're ever doing, all we're ever wanting to do. And I'm sure, like a lot of us, Jimmy is faced with obstacles that we've probably all had to face. One of those obstacles is the fact that his father, a commissioned military officer, does not care one iota for baseball. There's actually a point in the movie where after the family moves to Texas, Jimmy loses the box that his baseball glove was in, and his father just flat out tells him that baseball's not important in life, and the quicker you learn that, the better off you'll be. He just does not care at all, and Jimmy is just really dejected. So he settles into his life, he grows up, and it's at this point where Jim Morris is now an adult and played by Dennis Quaid. And Jimmy Morris is like a lot of us who are adults. He grew up, he has a house, a loving wife, 3 kids. He has a good job as a high school baseball coach and science teacher. And yeah, he seems like he's happy. He's got a good life, but much like a lot of us, I'm sure he's also wondering what would his life be like if he could have just made it to the major leagues just one time. And unlike a lot of us, Jimmy actually got the chance to live out his dream, but it definitely did not come in the way that he would have ever thought possible. You see, Jimmy's baseball team is not what you would call good. In fact, from the way that the movie depicts them, they're just 10 guys who couldn't make the football team, so they're playing baseball out of boredom and don't really care whether they win or lose. And try as he might, Jimmy just cannot get them invested in trying to win. But then one day, Jimmy has to pitch batting practice to the team because his star pitcher is late. And Jimmy suddenly finds himself throwing the ball a good 15 miles an hour faster than he could as a 20-year-old minor league prospect. Somewhere along the lines, when Jimmy's trying to give a speech and tell his team that they need to want more out of life and they need to try their best every single day, the team kind of flips it back around on him and tells him that now he's got a arm that could get him into the major leagues and he won't even try out. So they come up with an agreement. If the team wins the district championship, Jimmy will find a tryout and try out for the major leagues. Well, then we get this great montage where the team wins all these games and they actually find themselves playing for the district championship. And because it's Disney and because the whole movie is built around this fact, naturally, the team fulfills their goal. So Jimmy now has to live up his end. And one day when his wife is at work, Jimmy loads up his kids, drives to a tryout, and throws the ball. Well, the scouts were impressed. So impressed that they actually offer him a minor league contract. But you see, Jimmy wasn't really anticipating getting this far with the whole major league tryout thing. And even after he's offered the contract, he really, really doesn't want to do it. You know, and he tells his wife, like, I can't leave you with all this. And his wife tells him that, what are they going to tell their son, who followed Jimmy to his tryout and stayed with him through everything in an attempt to see his father do something nobody believed he could do. You know, and I think in a subplot to The Rookie, I need to point this out, is it's not just so much about baseball, it's about fathers and sons, because whereas Jimmy's father never cared at all about baseball, he never even tried to pretend to like it just to appease his son. Jimmy, with his son, tried everything he could to get his son involved and be involved in his son's life. And his son, like his father, loved baseball and was around his dad every day, especially with the baseball team. And knowing that he could never tell his son to give it all if he doesn't at least try, Jimmy packs up and goes on the road as a minor league prospect. And, you know, in the beginning, it's really not good. I mean, the fans are horrible to him. Even his own teammates think that it's a publicity stunt and he's there as a joke. You know, nobody takes him serious, even when he is pitching good. And, you know, to be honest, Jimmy, he just gets fed up with the whole thing. He's fed up with the travel. He's fed up with the attitude of his teammates. And to be quite honest, he was making less money as a minor league pitcher than he was as a high school teacher and coach. So he decides that, you know what, I'm done with this. So he calls his wife and he tells her that he's coming home. She says, no, you're not. You're going to keep going this out because we're fine. You're going to see this through. And Jimmy finds himself in a bar, just minding his own business. All of a sudden, a news report comes up on the TV, and it's Jimmy talking about why he packed up everything and tried to fulfill this impossible dream, made even more impossible by the fact that he's 35 years old, and most guys his age, if they have played baseball, are packing it up at this point. And so then Jimmy goes outside to get some air, finds himself walking past a Little League park where a game was taking place. He sees the parents in the stands cheering, and he sees the kids on the field having fun. And all of a sudden you see this light go off in his eyes. He sort of rediscovers why he fell in love with baseball in the first place. So he comes back in the next day, and with his new love and new found, for lack of a better word, I guess I'll call it invigoration for baseball, he goes on a tear and really starts mowing down all the other batters. And at the end of the movie, well, not really towards the end of the movie, but towards the end of what Jimmy thinks is the end of his career, because he gets a call from one of the club workers one day says, you need to go into the manager's office. He wants to talk to you. And in the minor leagues, the only two reasons why the manager would want to talk to you is to either tell you that you're being called up or that you're getting released. And Jimmy is not so sure that he's going to get called up because there are pitchers on the roster younger than him who are better than him that are being told they're going to have to wait another year. But in a set of circumstances that sounds too good to be true even for Disney, not only is Jimmy told that the Devil Rays are calling him up to the majors, but that he's also going to get to come home because they're playing a series of games in Texas. So Jimmy calls up his wife, tells them the good news, and the news spreads pretty fast through the whole town because his wife tells his former players to spread the word, and spread the word they do. And pretty much the whole team and his family show up to cheer Jimmy on and support him in the game. And he gets his chance late in the game to pitch. And he gets a strikeout on 3 pitches. After the game, Jimmy's being interviewed by a couple of reporters. And as he's giving his interview, he notices a face waiting for him in the crowd. A face he didn't expect to see. A face he'd never seen at any of his games before. His father. I didn't mention this earlier, and I probably should have, but even as a grown adult, there was still tension between Jimmy and his father. He would try hard to try to build a bridge between him and his father, and his dad just wasn't receptive to it. Maybe it was the fact that he just never knew how, or maybe it was because he realized that he made mistakes with Jimmy when he was a kid and didn't really think he deserved the chance to try to have a relationship with him as an adult. I'm not really sure, but in the end, the bigger thing about this movie, one of the reasons why I love it is, yes, it's about baseball, but down to its core, it's a great story about fathers and sons. You know, Jimmy Morris, as a kid, he loved baseball, and all he wanted, I'm sure, was his father to just, even one time, tell him that he was proud of him, or at least show up to a game and pretend to be interested, and it never happened. And then, as a mid-30s adult, he's just all but convinced that he and his dad are never going to have a relationship. And in closing, The Rookie is a movie not just about baseball, but about fathers and sons and following your dreams. It's one of those that you don't have to like baseball or even know anything about baseball to love the movie. Because down at its core, it really is just a love story. A love of baseball, a love of family, and really about following your dreams. Well, that's all for this video today, guys. Don't forget to like my channel, comment, and subscribe.